and welcome to this new episode of Continuum Gaming. We have episode 333, so pretty interesting number there. But whatever, what you already can see is it's another Sailfish OS topic in this case, and we are going to talk about traffic data on PureMaps. So just to give you a short introduction about that, if you are using Sailfish OS as your main smartphone operation system, or at least the smartphone operation system for you, you are probably going to use PureMaps as your maps provider or Google Maps alternative, more or less. And in this case, since the Sailfish OS or PureMaps integration here is more or less based on free and open source data from street maps in general. You can have different things in there, but that is one of the sources where you are probably going to use it with because of data protection, of course. And in the end, that has one bigger drawback, which is more or less that you don't get traffic data in this, because of course, if nobody is going to share his or her position informations and stuff like that, there is no algorithm that can tell you, hey, most users are at the moment, or a couple of users are at the moment not driving and they're at a certain part of some kind of a map, so for instance this one. And just to let you know, everything you're going to see in this video is not my real position. I'm using a mode in PureMaps that is used, or in the developer mode there is an option which will put the actual position you're working with in the middle of the map, and I'm going to use that in this video. The problem is that you're not going to get all the traffic informations by default, and so we have to do something about it that you can do that. For that, I'm going to use my Sailfish OS powered Xperia 10 Mark III from Sony here, and this one is going to be the smartphone that is going to provide us with any kind of information here. And of course, I'm using my laptop again to use the Firefox browser on it, so we can use screencast to have a look at what is going on my smartphone in a more easy or precise way, whatever, so you can see it in a better way in general. Okay, so for that I'm going to go out of the full screen mode here, and I'm just going to go to Firefox in this case. And as you can see, you can already see what's going on my smartphone. I'm going to put that into the full screen mode, and now you should see everything that is going on my smartphone on the big screen too. There is a bit of a delay in there, we can't do anything about that, but in the end it should be more or less what you are going to see here on the screen, and it's the same on my smartphone with a little bit of delay as I mentioned before. Okay. So let's have a look at PureMaps then. I have set up a couple of different things for PureMaps. I'm going to just turn around to show you what's going on my smartphone too. So as you can see, the position that we are currently at is the middle of the screen in the end, and I have something in I think München pre-selected here. So Munich. Yeah, there you can see it. We are at Munich at the moment, and as you can see, it's very unlikely that there wouldn't be any kind of smaller traffic jams or whatever in this part. So you can't really see where there are traffic jams or whatever. There is no option to activate that with a normal one. So at the moment we are using the offline data from the OCM Scout server. To see that, you go to your settings down there, you are going to go to maps, and then you can see, okay, OSM Scout is at the moment the maps provider, and that means that the map data you're going to see here is the default one from Sailfish OS. That's not really like it is. There is a couple of different steps to get that, but if you want to know more about that, I will link something in the description down below. So if you want to know how to set this up, because these are offline data, maps and so on and so forth, if you want to know more about that, please have a look at the description down below in the commentary section, or above the commentary section in the end. And as you can see, we have a couple of different options to go with here. So we can go with PureMaps, we can go with Mapbox, OpenSlope Map, and of course OCM Scout and Map Tiler and stuff like that. And I have set up a couple of them. Yeah, and just to show you what's going on with the other map providers, I already set up a couple of them. So let's have a look at here, for instance. If we are going to click on here, you can already see that there are more information available about some kind of traffic jam at this point, for instance. And there are a couple of different other ones. For instance, here you can already see the map looks a little bit different, behaves a little bit different, and we've got information about some kind of different traffic jams, more or less. For instance, at this point, so Dean and David Pommes Freunde, whatever, has some kind of a traffic jam there. And I'm not sponsored or something, just to let you know. But in the end, as you can see, we already got that. The problem about that is, of course, it's at the moment online. So at the moment, you might share some information with PureMaps in this case. And you will have to do that in some way or the other. Mapbox, that's another great part. I would recommend even to use Mapbox in this case, because as you can see, we have pretty detailed information about that even. So if I go in here, you can even see which way the traffic jam is going to be, and of course there are a couple of different modes or statics which are going to tell you, okay, if there is only a orange one, for instance, it's orange, then it's only a little bit of traffic jam. If you're going to get a really deep red one, it's probably a bigger problem there. And so in the end, if you are using any kind of service provider, I would, for instance, use Mapbox for that, because it's giving you really nice information. Only use it, as mentioned before, if you are using it for data protection reasons or whatever, PureMaps for instance, or SailfishOS or whatever. Be aware that this might be shared now, because this is an online one, and of course we only see what's going on here. Great thing about it is, since SailfishOS is used here, there's nobody that is really going to be able to put it in more or less combination to other data you are providing or stuff like that, so it's probably a good one. And the great thing about it is that if you set up these services, in general you're going to open up a new account from the service page. Just going to show you that. So this one isn't set up at the moment, so let's go out here and go to the settings. As you can see, if you're not receiving any kind of map data, you don't have any kind of an account for that specific map provider. You don't need an account for everybody, because some of them are just open and they are free to use, but for others you will have to create an account. To do that, go to the settings, and here you see a couple of different options. One of the options you are going to have to go to is, of course, navigation in this case, just to set up a couple of different things, like would you like to, for instance, put it in the street positions and stuff like that, but that's not really the case in our part here. And there are a couple of different other ones. For instance, how often you want to refresh the traffic data. This is this part here. Is there, so 10 minutes, 5 minutes, or I think 10 minutes is the smallest one here. Or for instance, if you only need it for, let's see, in 1 hour, 60 minutes or something like that. It depends on what you are going to need for your purpose here. Probably for traffic jam, especially if you're using it in a way that you are only using it in a certain situation where you really have to make sure that there is no kind of traffic jam ahead, then you are probably going to use the smallest iteration there, so the 10 minutes is the best one. But just to go back to what you have to do, you have to put in an API key for that, API key. And as you can see, here are the different options you can set up for that with different information about it. And as you can see, we already got, for instance, an here API key. Good thing about it is I don't really have to do anything with it, because it's only a couple of different digits you see. There are a lot more, so I'm not going to cover this up in this case. And as you can see, there are a couple of different ones, and Mapbox, and here are the most important ones, whatever you want to have there. In general, you would see, of course, something like for MapTiler here or MapQuest, because those two I didn't register for. So what to do here? It's pretty simple and straightforward, but you will have to navigate a little bit around and do a little bit of stuff for it. So first off, of course, go to, for instance, let's go to, I don't know, MapTiler, for instance. So open that in your browser. Can be Firefox, can be anything you want. So let's use the normal browser here. And as you can see, Maps for developers. So we are at the moment using some kind of a developer account. That's normal in this case. So if you want to do that using a developer account, go to create free account. Good thing about all this is that in general, most of the services are giving you a free account with a couple of different usage possibilities before you have to pay as a developer. And because of that, we are going to use that. Sign in with an email. We don't want to sign in with Google, of course, so sign in with an email in this case, put it in, and then you are going to be redirected after you probably have to do this. Let's see if we can. Sorry for that. That's only the sleep mode of my laptop. So let's put something in here for this. It's not going to be any kind of real password or something, just give it something. You will need it later on probably, so you should really have a look at that and need to more or less be sure. I'm just going to take some kind of a screenshot now, so I can just look at that and see what the part was, then save it. Now you are probably, it doesn't matter. So as you can see, he's going to ask you to go to your email account and provide the real situation there or whatever. And after that, you are getting some kind of an API key. It's of course for all the different parts, all the different offerers more or less. You're going to see different things here. So it's only for MapTiler that I'm going to show you, and you have to figure out how it's done in the other ones. Just get the API keys for everyone there, and then you should be fine. And after you did that, go back to PureMaps, get the API key. You can already see it for instance, Mapbox. I already did that. Put it in here, and after that, you will have to restart the PureMaps one. So the app has to be restarted after that. Then you should be able to switch to another map part. For instance, if we go to the maps here, you should already see that we can go, for instance, to Mapbox, whatever. So here we are. And in some situations, you will have, for instance, for here, you will have to have a look at the profile here, as you can see here online, or the mixed one is going to be necessary if you want to use here for this kind of information. Yeah, and this is more or less what this is all about. I hope you had a little bit of help, or it helped you a little bit. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. And of course, if you have any kind of questions, whatever, put them down below into the commentary section. I'm going to try to answer everything. And other than that, thank you for watching, thank you for listening, have a great day, have a great week, and we will see us in the next episode of Continuum Gaming next week probably. So have a great one, bye bye, and see you!